Hello, my lovely souls. How is everyone doing? It's been pretty hard, hasn't it? It's been rough going, hasn't it? Everyone is feeling this intense shift in energy at all different levels. It feels pretty harsh. It feels pretty rough going through it, right? But this is what this winter solstice and this upcoming new moon in Capricorn, I believe it's tomorrow. But I wanted to check in with you and just send you some love and some good vibe, healing energy to help you to get through this transition that we are all trying to get through. But I want you to pay attention to everything that's been coming up for you just in these last 2 weeks, because we're being presented with a lot of old ways of being and doing that are no longer in alignment with us as we move into this new timeline, this new cycle. We are going to be hit, even in these last 2 weeks alone, have been more or less a time of things coming up to the surface for you to take a look at again. Okay? Even though it feels so difficult and challenging right now, and we feel crazy and lack clarity and have this uncertainty and these fears that are coming up, it's really not for you to worry so much about those things that are coming up, but more or less for you to acknowledge them as they're showing themselves to you. Because what this period right now that we've been going through, this time right now, these last 2 weeks alone, is because Source, Spirit, the universe, God wants us to go into the darkness. We need to go into the darkness and make the darkness our friend. We need to lift it up and shine light onto it. So this winter solstice and this new moon that I believe is happening tomorrow on the 23rd is a time of deep contemplation, a time of purging and releasing. And that is why we have been challenged with so many obstacles and emotional roller coaster rides, and we are being shown parts of ourselves that have been keeping us stuck for so long. It feels very uncomfortable to us, which is representing the death of that old version of ourselves, right? We are trying to end it and to let those parts of ourselves that is no longer in alignment with us to die off. So that is why we are feeling so emotional and chaotic and uncertain, because of this period of our life, this time of transformation is about death and rebirth, balance and harmony. We cannot continue into the new cycle, into the new timeline in disharmony. We need to be in harmony with self. So that is the reason why you are being challenged right now with all of these parts of yourself, the dark parts of yourself, which represent all of the things that you've suppressed and pushed down, that are connected to experiences that you went through your life that were so uncomfortable, that created trauma, that stopped you in your tracks. It kind of kept you stuck where you could not continue to move forward. Okay? So instead of fighting and resisting this time right now that we're going through, where there's so much chaos and uncertainty, uncomfortableness, all of this stuff that is coming up for us, instead of fighting it and resisting it, It's really important to just sit in stillness and allow yourself to feel through all that is being shown and coming up for you. Because again, it is a time of us releasing the old version of ourselves. And it feels so uncomfortable because, again, it's familiarity. It's what we've always known. But through these last couple of years, last couple of months, we've been preparing for this time, for this major transformation, for this ending. We've had to go into isolation. You know, we were forced to go into isolations in a lot of cases as well, right? This is the remnants that are trying to be released, which means we have to go into the darkness, because that's where we're being guided right now. We're being guided into the darkness, but you can't resist it. Call in your spirit team to guide you through it, to protect you, to help you get through it. And in this time, we're going to be presented with so much darkness, not only of our own, but collectively, because there's so many people and so many energies. Let's use energies. I'd rather use energies than people, because everything is energy anyway. But there are so many energies that are really fighting against this change because they want everything to be the same. They don't want things to change. This period in time that we are in right now is a time of going into the darkness to start embracing and allowing these changes and all of these things that you've been holding on to come up so that we can go into the light. The new represents the light. We have to go through the darkness to get to the light. Because once we go through the darkness, the disharmony within ourselves, we are going to be ready to go into the light, to create harmony, balance, understanding, and know what it is we want to create, how we want it to look for us moving forward. So spirit, guides, angels, our spirit teams are all here to guide us. They're here. You're not alone through this process that you are going through right now, this process of transformation. You are not alone. You have to go into stillness, and you have to allow the changes. You have to allow whatever comes up to come up and be with it. Because it is, again, and I've talked about this many times, is when we are in stillness and isolation, is when we get our truest answers. That's when we get our clarity and understanding. But what happens is, and what people are experiencing now, is this rocking, craziness, chaotic time, because we're being forced to look at this stuff once and for all. And there's so many energies resisting this change. And there's so many energies that are trying to stop others from making this transition and transformation. It's where you may find people coming back into your life that really are no longer in alignment with you or serving the purpose or a purpose that you need moving forward. They may have served whatever purpose they needed to serve in your life. You might find energies who are used to you being in the lower vibrational energy who don't want you to move, because again, every one of us at some point during this transformation, this time that we've been going through these changes and upheavaling in our lives, are really beginning to release those parts of them that doesn't serve them anymore. So people, energies who are used to you being in that energy of before, when you connected with them, they're going to come in and they're going to try to shake you up, confuse you, stop you. They're going to try everything, their powers, everything. That, and it's not even just energies of other people, but just energies, your old ways of thinking, right? Those addictions that you've been fighting to try to release, because addictions really are just a part of us that we created to block healing, right? We may have in some part of our lives, gone through some kind of experience that really shattered us, that really messed with us, that we suppressed so deeply, repressed so deeply. And we started to go to addictions to escape or distract ourselves from feeling. This new timeline that is trying to be created right now is about letting all of that go. It's about healing those parts of you. So when I say the darkness, that is what I'm talking about. It's those dark parts of you that you have shut down. And when we shut ourselves down, we shut our hearts down. We can't give or receive. We can't feel joy. We can't feel happiness because we're just constantly shutting down. So the light from other energies who have been going through their changes and awakenings are going to be very, very disrupting to people who have been so blocked. So again, I don't want to go too much into that, and I'll do that, and then we'll talk about that in another video. But right now, what I want you to understand is this time during the winter solstice into the new moon is all about guiding us to go within, to honor this time of death and rebirth, to go into the darkness and to be willing, because only you can do this. No one else can do this for you. You have to be willing to be in the stillness, to go into the stillness, the quiet, so that you can go into the deeper parts of yourself and start releasing it. You have to allow yourself to feel the uncomfortableness of it, but know it's being done so that you can bring harmony back to yourself, to bring balance back to self, right? And every change we make within ourselves creates change within the world. It really does. So continue to allow what needs to come up to come up. Allow yourself to face all that comes up for you. Go in full force into the darkness. Don't fear it. Make it your friend. Bring it up so that you can work together to start releasing, healing, letting go. Because this new timeline is about peace. It's about alignment. It's about creating and co-creating with the universe the life that you are truly meant to have. And the only way that can happen is for you to look at the parts of yourself that are no longer in alignment with you, to release the people, places, and things. Feel the uncomfortableness of how and what that represented in your life so that you can let it go. It's time for you to be in a place of harmony with yourself. And we need to go through this chaotic time, this darkness. But you're not going through it alone. Call in your team. Help them. Ask them to help you get through this process. Because it's not a pleasant process when we have to look at things that we don't want to look at, or feel things that we don't want to feel. And that's what creates a lot of the blockages, disharmony within yourself, because you're not allowing yourself to be true, to be real with yourself. Because again, this time is also about being true to you, being authentic, really being honest with yourself, 100%. Speaking your truth, knowing your worth, knowing your value, understanding that everything happened for a reason, to bring you into this place of light and balance. You have to honor going into the darkness and this time that we are going in right now. Honor the darkness. Allow it to show you what it needs to show you and feel through it. Honor this transition, this time of being in the darkness, as uncomfortable as it's feeling for many of us. Honor it. Don't resist it. It's necessary for us to go through this darkness so that we can prepare ourselves to move into the light, into the new, into the rebirth of the truth of who we are, of balance, of harmony, of authenticity, of unconditional love. And what more than being true to ourselves, honoring the darkness to see the truth and bring in harmony to ourselves is what unconditional love represents. Because what are you doing? You're loving yourself unconditionally through the darkness, accepting and allowing it to do what it needs to do, to move through it. Allow it to move you through to the next part of your life, the rebirth. So I'm sorry that we are going through this really rough time of chaos and uncertainty, but we're not supposed to really know or need to control the outcome anymore. At this point, we're not supposed to do that. At this point, all we are meant to do and what we are supposed to do is stay in the stillness, in the quiet, to rest, to allow all of this to come up for you, to feel through it. Don't distract yourself from it. Allow it to do what it needs to do so that you can move into this new balance, harmony, unconditional love. Because that's who you are, unconditional love. You need to honor yourself through this transition and transformation and allow yourself to honor all the parts of you, the darkness, and the light, so that you can get back to the light of which you truly are. Balance, harmony only comes when we are willing to honor the darkness within, to create the change within that is necessary to bring about the seeds of the new, which is meant to be an amazing, amazing experience in life. So honor yourself, my loves. And I send you lots of love and lots of light and healing to help you get through this very difficult time. Love you first and allow the transition and transformation to take place. Don't resist it. Don't resist it. It is meant to happen as it is happening so that you can begin the releasing of the old, and it's going to show up as being very sad and depressed and a lot of crying and a lot of pain and a lot of discomfort. And I'm sorry that you have to go through that, but at the end of it, I promise you, when you get into that place of harmony, it will all make sense to you, and you will say, thank you for allowing me to bring balance, understanding, truth, and unconditional love back to me. So now I can create the world and the life that is truly meant for me. I love you all. Have an amazing holiday. Enjoy it. Be present and allow the changes to happen. Because at the end of it all, it's going to be a beautiful thing. Love you all so very much. So what are some of the things that we may be forced to look at during this time of getting through the darkness to get to the light, the parts of us that are trying to come up so that we can start to embrace and get through it, release it, heal it, let it go. So it might show up like abandonment issues, right? Rejection, things that most people have experienced at some point in their life. And it is that experience, wherever it originated and created the abandonment and rejection in us, is what is trying to come up now for us to look at again. Where did it really come from? We're ready to release it. Our body no longer wants it to be there. So in order for us to release the feelings of abandonment and rejection, we have to allow ourselves to feel through it and be uncomfortable with it. Allow ourselves to go full force into it and face it so that we no longer have to deal with it. I don't even want to say no longer deal with it, but we no longer want to carry that with us into this new cycle, this new beginning. A lot of distractions that will be happening in your life to kind of deter you off of this path of transformation, like this train that's running through. And as many times as I have to keep stopping the video to let all of these distractions go by is important, because we will be challenged with distractions that are coming through to push us off of our path, to push us off of this creation of the new. And as I mentioned in the earlier video, those distractions, that are coming into our lives, whether it's the face of the addictions or people coming into your life who don't want you to change, who don't want you to move forward, or those thoughts and those deep-rooted emotional trauma from the past that's showing itself, and we don't want to feel it. So we're being pushed to, so we're trying to distract ourselves from it, right? Again, this time is really about you not distracting yourself. It's about you not pushing it away anymore. It's about you allowing it to come in so that you can start to heal it and let it go, right? So again, you're going to be presented with a lot of distractions, people, places, things, addictions, all of the darkness outside of your darkness that you're trying to heal, that's going to come in and try to block you and stop you from moving forward, into this new transformation, into the light, into the harmony. It wants to keep you in disharmony, right? The darkness outside of ourselves. Not only is the darkness within ourselves keeping us in disharmony, but the darkness outside of us that's coming in to keep us in disharmony is going to show itself. I mean, I've talked to so many people who are having dreams, nightmares, of being psychically attacked by energies, that are still trying to fight this transformation that we're going through. Old people from the past who really don't want to change, that want to stay in their energy, who's coming in to disrupt you, to confuse you, to shake your world up and put you into the place of blocking you from blooming and from flourishing and from growing and from moving into the light, the new. Be very, very aware. Be very conscious. Be careful with this stuff that you're going to be challenged with. This is the darkness again, and it doesn't have to always be outside, again, like I said before, outside energies. This is also the way you think, the way that you think, the way that you've gotten accustomed to thinking about yourself in a lower frequency and vibration of not feeling good enough. Be very aware and be very careful of these outside energies that are coming in to disrupt you and keep you stuck because they don't want you to move forward. The darkness is coming in very strong to keep us stuck, to keep us in the old, because they don't want you to move into the new. And again, people, places, things, thoughts, addictions, old stuff that we became accustomed to or created from experiences that we went through to protect ourselves, to keep us in that place of not connecting to our truth of who we are. We let it all define us. We let it all stop us from being who we truly are. So these couple of years have been about us getting to that place now of allowing the changes, to healing, to letting go, right? So again, it's going to show up as people coming in and energies coming in to distract you, to disrupt you, to confuse you, to attack you in whatever way. And it's not to scare you, it's just to make you aware that there are energies, and I don't want you to feed into it, because that also is what you may create more of if you let yourself feed into it and go into the fear of it. Because it's not about going into the fear about it. It is about going into the darkness, face on, just full force, and not letting it control you anymore. Not letting it stop you from being the beautiful you that you are. Facing it, healing it, letting it go, knowing that it was not meant to be in our life forever. It was just meant for us to learn a lesson from, right? Truly honor yourself during this transformation. Honor your peace. Set healthy boundaries. Be true with what you need to say, express. All of this that we have been going through leading up to this very moment of ending and releasing the remnants so we can create the new and go into the light, create harmony, happened for a reason, because it is no longer part of who you are. It is no longer in alignment, I should say, more so, of where you are going or who you have become. We need to continue to move forward in our lives, honoring our truths, expressing our truths, setting our boundaries, and fighting through the darkness, not letting the darkness continue to come up to pull you back to the old and keep you stuck. We're not supposed to be stuck anymore. No, not in this new. But you have to face it. You have to look at the darkness and go through the darkness to finally heal it and let it go. So again, it's going to look like energies coming in to stop you in your tracks, to pull you back to the old version, because they don't want you to move forward in whatever way it shows up, whether it's people, places, things, even collective energies, right? And for a lot of people who are super sensitive, we really feel that, the darkness. We feel collectively all of that darkness, and it really is still trying to fight. It's really trying to fight from being released. It doesn't want us to be in harmony. It wants us to be in confusion and disharmony, right? So all of the work you have done up to this point should be preparing you for this very moment now of this change and this ending of this cycle, ending the karmic cycles, behaviors, patterns, ways of thinking, being, all of these things, and no longer that are in alignment with us, all need to die off. And that's the struggle that most people are experiencing right now, because it almost feels like losing control. Because when you think about it, we created this illusion and wore these masks in that old version of ourselves to get through life as normal as possible. And we made those illusions and wore that mask to the point where it became us, right? So now we're being forced to change and release and heal and get through the darkness to get to the light. It makes us feel like we have no control and we're losing control. We're not supposed to be controlling anything anymore. We're supposed to just allow it to come up, to heal, to create harmony, and to trust that what the universe, what spirit, what God has in store for us is better And it is part of the best version of who we are. It is our truth. It's our authenticity. So try to be as gentle as you can with yourself during this process. Let the stuff come up. Let yourself feel the pain of it. Then rest. Rest. The remainder of this year should be about resting. Stillness. Being in stillness. Creating and enforcing healthier boundaries. Stepping away from the old and the disharmony that doesn't feel good. Because I'm going to tell you, you're going to feel it physically on all levels. You're going to feel when it is no longer in alignment for you. You're going to feel it because that is how you're going to know the difference, right? So all these things are coming up right now, and it may feel as chaotic as it's so chaotic and so all over the place, and the uncertainties and the sadness and the depression and the feelings of hopelessness and the insecurities and the anxiety and the fears, everything is coming up to the surface again for us to clear the remnants of whatever is left from all the work we already have done up to this point. Trust yourself. Trust your intuition. Ask for help from your spirit team. And just keep pushing through this darkness. Don't let it stop you. Push through it. Reach into that inner strength and courage that you have within yourself. And let it help you get through it. We're almost there, people. We're almost there, my loves. Almost there. Honor yourself through this process. Honor the darkness. Make it your friend. Heal it. Let it go. Honor this transformation that you are going through. Trust the process. Allow the process. At the end of it all, again, it will make sense to you. Have an amazing, amazing weekend, I should say, holiday. Have fun. Be around the people who love you, the people who are giving and receiving to you. You know, unconditional love is so important at this time. But you have to give it to yourself first. But be around the people who are going to raise your vibration and keep you going in the right direction. And stay away from the ones who are trying to pull you back and take you back and bring you to a low place and keep you stuck. And you'll know that because it won't feel good anymore. You will know it because you have done so much work up to this point to know if it's disrupting you, if it's creating confusion within yourself. You really need to go within to understand why this is happening. And understand and trust it's not feeling good for a reason because it's not in alignment with you anymore. Be true to yourself through this transformation. It's so important. Harmony. That is where we want to be. Balance. Connected to the truth. Authenticity. Knowing who we truly are. And letting it come through. Being proud of who we have become and all of the work that we have done and all of the obstacles that we have overcome. Let it come through. Shine that light onto everyone else that is struggling, trying to get through this time of darkness. Be aware of the people, places, things around you that are trying to pull you back. Because that's not where you want to go anymore. It doesn't feel good anymore. You want to move forward into the light, into the balance. And we need to balance the darkness, bring harmony to the darkness by loving it, shining light in it, embracing it, and allowing it to come up. No longer disconnecting ourselves from it, hiding from it, removing ourselves from it. because you need to let it come up in order for the balance to begin. It's not as scary as we think. The hardest part about embracing the darkness in the parts of ourselves, the shadow parts of ourselves, is the pain and the discomfort and the uncomfortableness of it. The going back to parts of us, remembering certain things that we don't want to remember, or feeling things that we don't want to feel. So the hardest part of embracing our darkness is how it makes us feel. Whether it brings up fears, anxieties, pain, and discomfort. But we have to embrace it because it's part of who we are. Just as much as the love and the joy and the peace is important for us. But we need to balance both parts of ourselves in order to create the balance and harmony. And as we honor this winter solstice and this new moon that is coming up, with getting us through the darkness, so we can lead us into the light and balance and harmony, I want you to ask yourself this question. What do I need to release to move forward in my life? And really give yourself time to stay in that thought, in that question, in stillness, and allow yourself to receive the answer and truly honor what it is that is coming through for you, that you need to release within your life, that's going to help you move forward into the new, into the light, into balance. Truly honor it, even if it has to come up and you start to feel emotional about whatever it's coming up for you. If it makes you feel sad of the thought of needing to release it, allow that to come through as well. But really, really take the time to ask that important question of, what do I need to release in order to move forward into the new? Meditate, or just allow the intuition to come through, guidance to come through for you, to tell you. But be honest with the answers that come through. Because what will happen is, when that answer comes through for you, and usually we know it's the truest form of an answer because it will be the very first thing that comes into your mind. The very first thing that comes to your mind when you ask the question, what do I need to release to move forward, is the truest form of an answer before we start to distort it by questioning it. Okay? So this is a time to really be truthful with yourself. What do I need to release in order to move forward into the new? Allow the emotions to come up. Don't distort the answer. Be true to whatever is coming through. And then really take the time to process that. Because it is going to be the identifying answer that's going to really, truly help you move forward into the new. Love you all. So, my loves, with the continuation of going through the darkness to get to the light, which the winter solstice and the new moon is representing for us right now, I did pull a card during the videos that I was recording for you, that I was guided to share with each of you in the collective, just to give you some clarity and understanding of what is truly going on. The card that came through, which really amazes me, you know, that it's really describes a lot of what I was talking to. So this is a lot of times Spirit's way of validating all that has been channeled during those video recordings, and to help you understand at a more detailed maybe way. So the card that popped out, And again, remember, this is about us going through the darkness to get to the light, and not to let any of the obstacles and all of the old energies, the darker energies, stop you from moving forward into the light, into the new of who you truly are. So the card that popped out was Fallen Angel, Spiritual Narcolepsy. This is what came through while I was channeling and sharing the messages that Spirit wanted me to share with you. And I'm going to just read to you the representation of what it means and to give you a better understanding. So, fallen angel, falling unconscious, spiritual narcolepsy. You are being cautioned now to not fall asleep or go unconscious. You have been flying above the strife and suffering of the world in angelic bliss. However, you risk being seduced by the beauty and comfort of your situation and losing track of your aspirations. Your wings. As you fall, you pick up speed, heading towards the trees below and a possible nasty landing. Remember that all you need to do to stop being a fallen angel is spread your wings to halt your descent and then find an updraft again. Do not be seduced by the fallen angels, your supposed friends and companions who are ready to use you for their pleasure and have only their own interests in mind. As you soar once more in flight, receive the gift of the fallen angel as an invitation to study the forest from above the trees. In other words, to analyze your situation from a higher perspective without being entangled in its thorny branches. Once you understand what needs to be done, head back to your lofty heights and stand by for the right moment. Action you take now may backfire. Stay conscious and wait until you are guided to change. You will know when the time is right. So again, that goes hand in hand with what I was talking about. You're going to have a lot of darker energies from past thoughts, addictions, things that are going to come up in your consciousness right now as we're trying to transition and transform into this new, to the light. The dark parts of us, the dark energies outside of us are going to come in to try to seduce you, to try to stop you from moving forward. This is where you really need to use discernment in your choices and decisions, right? This is why this time is about you being in your stillness, being in the stillness to really allow this stuff to come up for you. Even if these things are coming into your life, step back and allow yourself to really process whatever is coming up for you, what is showing up for you, who is showing up for you, who's coming in, how it feels being pulled out of a place that you are trying to go into, which is, again, the light. We need to release the darkness to go to the light. And anything that is not serving us anymore or in alignment with us has to go. We cannot take it with us. So again, this time is about all of this coming up for us, even if it means people, places, things showing up again into our consciousness now, in our awareness now, in this moment in time. It's really for us to take a good look at it and see, how does this make me feel? If it feels uncomfortable, that's just proof that you've really made major changes in your life. It doesn't feel good to you anymore. So it's time for you to release it. So this card represents that challenge that may show up in your life again. People, places, things, right? It's like becoming the fallen angel when these things are showing up for us. But it's about allowing ourselves to embrace the fallen angel within that may have gone back at some point, or thinking about going back to that time, but really take a hard look at it for what it really is showing us so that you can get your wings and move forward. Be careful, my loves. Use discernment. Trust yourself. Trust how it feels. If it doesn't feel good for you anymore, then it is no longer in alignment for you. Love you all.